I like the green in between your ears.
I like the green in between my ears as well because I can't figure out right now how to make this thing work. I can't get the virtual background is having an issue right now. So I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having themselves
found that men over
a researcher found. I hope everyone's having themselves a good day. You know what? We had a big giant win there on Friday, Rob. We were at the game. We were on the sidelines. I want to thank everyone who came out and hung out. It was a good time. It was a fun time. Oh, I click on I have a green screen to do the fade. There we go. Look at that. I got the fade to work now. It was a good time, Rob. It was a good game. It was a wonderful game. We had a good experience. We saw a giant win. We saw the first team offense for about a hiccup.
About a hickey up.
About a hiccup we saw the first. So we got OG. We got, and I'm not going to say anything because, like I said, everyone's all excited about what happened with the first team offense. Daniel Jones looked good in the drive. Daniel Jones looked comfortable. He looked fluid in the pocket. He avoided a sack at one point in time as well. He's going to need to learn not to continuously force the ball into Waller. He's also got to learn not to throw Waller into contact because that one drop that Waller had, he could have got him killed. And it wasn't worth it in the preseason. So I mean, I think those are things that he's gonna have to make sure he doesn't have an over reliance on the Waller. But
Jones to Waller, first down.
But in the grand scheme of things, it was a great drive. It was a good opening drive. I would like to have seen the offense go through a series. It was amazing though, Rob, because I don't know if you watched it. Did you watch the game?
I did.
The Giants ran out that first series on offense for those that didn't watch the game. And then in the second series, they basically took out everybody except for some of their skilled players. They basically took out their offensive. They basically started removing the offensive line. They did keep in some of their wide receivers, but then they kind of just went with second teamers and third teamers, within the offensive line. And I thought in some regards that wasn't 100% fair to Tyrod Taylor because of the fact that you had your starting five, which was going to be Neal, Bredesen, you had the Big John, you had Glowinski, and then you had Thomas, and then you shifted over to Taylor. And then you put in Matt, you put in Joshua. Big John stayed in the game, but I think it's sometimes
Evan also stayed in the game too.
He stayed in the game for a little bit, and it wasn't really a fair assessment. And the defense played almost all their the defense played pretty much all their starters.
I think for almost the first quarter.
No, almost the first half.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I know like Bobby played. I think Dexter played maybe like the first quarter with Leo.
No, they were shifting in and out the entire first half.
Really?
Yes, I was there between Jordan Riley and Leo and Leonard Williams. Almost the entire first half, they were shifting out. The entire what they would be referred to as the starting secondary almost played all the way into the third quarter. And this, I mean, like I said, you had Wink kept his defense out there, which is why they held the vaunted Carolina Panthers offense to, I believe, 3 points.
The Carolina Panthers.
We're not even going to talk about the second.
Sorry, ruin your Black Panther party.
Sorry, Jenny.
Sorry, Jenny. Sorry, Bryce. Ruin your Black Panther party.
I had to fight your Black Panther party. If you're gonna quote Forrest Gump, do it right. And make sure you hit the like button when you come on in. But like I said, I thought from an assessment standpoint, if you want to look at the offense from that first series, it was a great series. It was a great drive into the. I actually recorded the first series and live streamed it, and I love the one person that goes to me, "Well, this is just terrible camera work." A, it's free. B, I'm on a freaking iPhone in the stands trying to record the first drive for you. Sorry if I'm not CBS. I didn't have a 6-camera shoot and had cameras on the sidelines.
Unbelievable.
But like I said, I think if you're going to use it as a barometer, you also didn't have Saquon Barkley play at all. Eric Gray, Eric Gray had a touchdown, which wasn't really. If you watched
He
it,
looked better this game than he did last week.
he
A little
still
bit, not by much, but he did look a little bit better.
First of all, he got Tyrod Taylor killed. He
Yeah,
can't.
he can't pass block worth of shit.
He cannot flat out. He cannot pass block. Flat out. You think Saquon Barkley is bad? And I think Saquon Barkley has improved over the last year.
Oh, Saquon was way better last year than he was his first few years in the league.
Saquon understands he may not like you, but you got to put your helmet in there. Eric Gray was just and the touchdown he had, which was a 9-yard run, wasn't a touchdown. He was stopped at the goal line. You saw in the replay, but they gave it to him anyways, and it wouldn't have mattered because it would have been, I think, 2nd and 1, so it wouldn't have mattered. But he is just the concerns I have right now is the running game, because even with the starting offensive line, you had Matt Breida in there as well. They have no running game, nothing whatsoever right now, and hopefully that's going to get fixed with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the offense looked smooth. When they went out there, Daniel looked a lot quicker with his decision making. The play that he kind of avoided pressure, kind of stepped to the side, allowed Neal, kind of even stepped back inside to allow Neal to regain leverage on his defender, moved up, rolled out. And that play he actually ran for a little bit. And I was trying to watch some all 22, and I think, and I'm not going to be super critical about it, but what I thought would have been nice is on that play, I think Campbell was right there at the top. And I think as he was getting ready to run, Campbell kind of broke free a little bit. And right. I don't know if Daniel was past the line of scrimmage yet to where he wouldn't be able to throw it. But I would have liked to see him maybe just because it's a preseason game, try to get it over that defender right into Paris Campbell's, just kind of lob it a little bit and see if Paris Campbell can run under it a little bit. But I mean, still a good play. I thought him rolling out.
The problem is with that, and I've said this a million times before, it's about repetition.
Yeah.
You don't want to make a try to, and this is what kind of kills me with people. Oh, he should have tried to make that play. You don't want to try to make these plays in preseason because you're not going to do it in the regular season. You go with the correct play. You go with the correct route. You go with the correct read. If he has the ability to run, it's better for him to take it for 6 or 7 yards than for him to throw an incompletion, because you need to learn to fight. You need to lead into fight another, for another down.
No, for sure. But I'm saying but plays like that, if that was, let's just say that would have been a touchdown, that's the difference maker between playing some of the teams that were playing this year. Those might be those off script, I'm just going to make a play type of plays. They don't come, very often, but, they're ones that, that you see them, here and there. Right. I thought when he rolled out and he hit Hodgins, when they kind of motioned into a T formation, a wing T formation, normally he takes the check down every time last year. He went back inside, threw it in front. So Hodgins caught it in stride, which I thought was good. So overall, I thought the first drive, and I think we're going to see a lot of the touchdown. Waller was double teamed in the end zone, which I understand. And Bellinger was able to come in right underneath, nobody around him, and he was able to score the touchdown. And I think you're going to see a lot of that this year so far. But I thought the offense looked smooth their first time out. I thought Evan Neal, for somebody who didn't play football for 2.5 weeks, I thought Evan Neal looked good. He was out of his stance a lot quicker. He had good hand placement. He got beat on a stunt once, I think, because he stepped too inside. I also think Lewinsky did a horrible job passing it off to him as well. But we won't get into that.
We all love Lewinsky.
Yeah, we all love, Mark Lewinsky. But I thought Neal did a good job, for the fact of him not playing for a couple of weeks due to being in the concussion protocol. I thought he did a fair job.
And this is all I'm going to say. And people are like, "Oh God, Tim's about to be negative." This is all I'm going to say. Carolina played a lot of their second and third teamers that first series. This first couple series for the majority of the game on defense and for parts of the times on offense as well. There is a difference between the second team Carolina defense and the first team Dallas Cowboy offense. Defense. There's a difference.
Oh, of course.
There is going to be a difference. So what you may have been able to run against the Carolina Panthers, you may not be able to get away with. There was plays that Waller was just wide open. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Waller is a extremely talented player. But I also think a lot of it has to do with there's not a lot of extremely talented players in Carolina. So there is going to be a different coverage skill set. And I think that, like I said, I hope that there is not an abundance of we're going to just feed it into Waller, kind of like Eli did with Odell those last couple of years, because that was all he really had. And then kind of neglect, Hyatt. And we're going to talk about Hyatt in a minute too. And Paris Campbell got into the game. Sterling Shepard played some of the first teamer snaps, and he played a little bit into the second half, I assume the second quarter as well. So it's good to see number 3 out there on the field. I got this is for the Zach attack, because I know it's his favorite player. We had Bryce Ford Wheaton. We had a Bryce Ford Wheaton sighting. He was in the game. He made a catch. He did everything he needed to do to make himself on the practice squad. But he's not going to make the team. But that's for the Zach attack. Let me run through some of these hellos, good mornings real quick here. Mike Lee says, and the other football news, congrats to the Spanish women's soccer team. Sorry, Dom, for the loss. Better luck next time, mate. We got the OG in here saying, what's up, guys? We got Admiral Matumbo saying, God bless America, and good morning, lads. And we got OG says, it's Carolina, guys. I know it's Carolina, but you know what? You still have to get a little bit of excitement. God, when am I the voice of reason? James says, hit that like button. We got Mr. McCormick coming and said, DJ had a great series. He got rid of the ball quickly and made better decisions. I wanted to see it last. I want to see it last too, Rob, because we've talked about this last year. DJ always had one good drive a game. It's like clockwork. He would have one great drive. You would get all excited, and you hope that it wasn't the very first drive, because sometimes you need some points in the second half. And then they would kind of go in the tank a little bit, the Giants. Something would happen, something would go wrong. He would miss something, but he always had that one great drive. So I'm hoping maybe this year he has 2 great drives a game.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping that DJ, can put it all together this year. He looked good in that first drive. Look, I don't think it's going to go without saying that I think DJ is going to play better this year. It's a question about how much better. Right? How much better is he going to play compared to what he did last year? And I think if we were playing the schedule that we played last year, this year, I don't think that people would be expecting a huge monumental, or put a big emphasis on it. The reason why there's a big emphasis is because, he got paid, right? But the teams that you're playing this year are good teams that can score a lot of points. And I actually prefer this schedule because I think it's going to let us know what we have at the quarterback position, what we have in the offense in general, and the entire team. I do think that if the offense can move the way that it moved yesterday, I'm confident, that I think that we will be able to score points. It's just going to be on how good DJ is going to play. I think he's going to be better this year. Just how much better that remains to be seen.
We have the venerable James Williams in the chat, so I decided to put up Quint being eaten by the shark in the chat. So good morning, boys. Good morning, chat. We got the OG says, I'll be convinced when DJ beats the Cowboys. I'll be convinced too. Like I said, but it was a good first drive. You have to give credit where credit is due. James says, someone tell me why we are paying a $40 million quarterback this year to throw the ball 10, 15 yards down the field and no deep passes. We're going to get into that. OG says Evan Neal is going to be a problem this year. I don't know if how great. We'll see. Zach says that was one good drive. I wish they would have played Jones more. I agree. They should have threw him out there a little bit more. We also have the Jeff and Newman coming in here going, ta-da! We have, let's see, OGR Sports, who was there with us on Friday. We had a great time with the OGR. Glowincy's got the glow. We were sitting there at one point, and OG was asking me, "What is that movie with the glow?" I'm like, "Well, that's the last dragon." You are the last dragon. You possess the power of the glow. We got OG say, guys, that is the problem with DJ. He has one good drive. He can't do it consistently throughout the game unless it's the Vikings. You're not wrong. But we're going to find out this year. James says, I knew you would, brother. Daniel Jones literally averaged 8 yards per pass. He's making $40 million a year. I need my quarterback to actually throw the ball down the field. We got Alex Sports coming in saying, Timmy, how you doing? We got Eric says, OG, I agree with you about Evan Neal and Mr. James Wins. Love the names. We got nice cut, looking sharp. Got the dude done yesterday.
Looks a little crooked on the top.
You know, it's funny though. It's not the crooked. It's these damn headphones. And what I try to do is, because I'm such a woman, I'm trying to comb it so it kind of stays positioned.
It looks like it slants.
I'm sitting there trying to get it in position, and I'm sitting there with the brush doing this.
You got a nice like hill there going on with your hairline.
You know what? And the problem was I washed my hair last night, so I had to put in my product today. But then if it's dry, it just doesn't go right unless it's just, just it ain't easy being me. Let's see. Kevin says, I'm actually excited to play the Cowboys. Before I used to dread it. I don't dread it. We got Big Chris in the house saying, good morning, Tim. Good morning,
Chris.
Bob. We also got Eric Williams giving the big thumb up, and Aaron also Chris also says, look at Aaron Rodgers, a heat map for the past 3 years. What's the heat map?
Hey, what's a heat map?
Or is that a heat mop? Dom is at Poppycockers. Do not disturb. I don't know where Dom is. I don't know, J Sports Cars. I don't know where Dom is today. Matt is a lost cause. Matt just needs to go.
Matt from Connecticut needs to.
You just don't go away, Matt. Just go away. That's what Matt needs to do. I mean, I can't even fathom Matt anymore because Matt and I love this. Tim, you are such a diva. I agree. I know I am. I don't deny it. I sit there with my skin product. I get my under eyes. I got everything going on here.
Tim's got to look good for the camera.
I got to look good for the camera because you want to know why? Because at this point in time, if you are looking for a new wireless service, there's no better place to go than Mint Mobile. And that's mintmobile.com/Big Blue. If you go on there right now, they have their big 50% off sale. You can get 3 months of unlimited internet, text messaging, and everything else on the largest 5G network for only $45 for those 3 months. Take 45 divided by 3. That's what you're paying.
Go there. Deal.
I'll wait. It's right down.
No, literally, like do it right now.
Yeah, literally, because I'll just wait because I don't have a lot to do right now. We'll leave that on the bottom, so make sure you go to mintmobile.com. We got another sponsor coming in, so Tim, you're such a diva. I know that. Eric says we need more strength on our defensive line. The defensive line. I saw, was it ESPN, Rob, that said we have one of the top 5 interior defensive lines.
I think they said we have the number 1 defensive line.
I
definitely think we're top 5.
Listen, I saw our defensive line against Carolina. And like I said, these guys played. Carolina rushed for over 100 yards.
Well, to be fair, Ashawn didn't play and Nacho didn't play because I think Nacho's still. But he's still in concussion protocol.
I have to double check. I'm not sure. Ashawn was on the field, but he did not play.
Yeah,
he suited up, but he had the Nikes on. He had the Nikes. It was funny because we're all looking at Saquon. People are like, he's gonna play. I'm like, he's not gonna play. He's wearing his Nikes. He's wearing his Nike running shoes. He's just not gonna play.
Yeah, no, he's not gonna play. No, but I think we have some good. I think we've got good depth at the defensive line.
The problem is they were saying that we have the best starting defensive line with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams
and Ashawn,
and we were still getting pushed up in the middle, even when the and again, this is Carolina. So I'm not sure if we're having issues still with the linebacker position or if we're still having. We had a terrible run. We were terrible against the run last year, and a lot of that had to do with the defensive line.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit different with the actual like full starters out there. First game that the starters played, on defense, they made some plays, but there were some running plays that got away from them for sure. So,
but you can't have those plays get away from you against Dallas.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I do think it's going to be, I think right now the way, and I like to talk about him later, the way Jordan Riley's been playing.
We're going to talk about Jordan Riley. He got his attitude out a little bit last week, and he came up and stepped up a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking good. When given his opportunities, I think with Ashawn and Nacho being there, and then with Dexter and Leo, I think the defensive line is going to be fine. I think we've got some really good depth at the defensive line position right now. So hopefully hopefully right now it's just first game not jitters, but first game, wearing off the rust for the first game, hopefully.
Hopefully. Matt and Corey are trash. Yeah. You know what? The only problem I have with that is an insult to trash. We have the Bronx native saying, Tim, you look like Ivan Drago. I must break you. We have Chris Wayne, smooth transition into Mint Mobile. We also have, let's see here, OGR member for 1 month. This is Zach Attack already right there. We got James Williams says, I'm good. Hope everything well. J-Fed's dead. Dom is crying in the field position after England ladies lost to Spain in the final World Cup. Let's see here. Okay, Tim says, Eric, once enough for yourself, buddy. Get back to the Giants. I thought he was going to say enough for yourself. Get back to yourself. Let's see here. Will Darnay and Flott get cut? I think Flott makes it. I think there's a possibility that Holmes gets cut. Darnay Holmes.
Hold on. No audio. I got no audio. 1 second.
He's got no audio. I personally think that Holmes may potentially get cut. I think Flott is going to probably take his spot. This whole crap, and I don't remember if we talked about it last week. This whole crap about Adoree Jackson playing in the slot. I did a video about it. Oh no, I didn't talk about it last week. I did a video about it last week. He's not going to play in the slot. You are not going to go into Dallas with Hawkins and Banks on the outside. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean, you're not going to do that. Jackson may mirror the best wide receiver on the team. So if that receiver falls into the slot, oh, I do look good. Sorry, Eric. If that's a wide receiver does fall into the slot, then that's where he's going to go. We got Zach Attack gifting out a membership as well. You got to thank the big Zach Attack. Let's see here. We got Lester coming in here. What's going on, my brother? Hey, Tim. Hey, Rob. Peace. I just think we will ball out this season. I hope we do as well. But I do think, so let's see if Rob's back in here. Are you back in with your audio?
Yep. Got it. Just had to reset it.
All right. Rob just had to reset the audio. I was saying that I don't think Darnay Holmes makes this team.
I agree. I don't think he makes the team either.
I don't think that Bobby's making this team either.
Bobby,
what's his name? McCarron. What's his name? I can't think of his name.
Bobby McCain.
McCain. Thank you. He's not making this team.
It's tough because I think, I think the kid Owens makes a team. I think he's been showing some good things.
I like Owens. I've been talking about Owens now for a couple days now. So I think you're going with Jason, of course.
Yeah. Pinnock, Belton.
You're going to Xavier, you're going with Belton, and you're going with Owens.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to be the route that they go.
And Bobby really didn't play much the other day. He stood on the sidelines quite well. He looked very, what also we forget a lot is Nick McLeod.
I think McLeod makes the team.
I think McLeod, I'm not sure the Giants are going to carry 5 safeties. That's the problem.
No, I think when it comes to McLeod, I think he's a hybrid. So he could do, he could do a little bit of both. He could do corner and he could do safety because I think that they would be able to do both if need be.
See, I would rather have Cordell Flott in the nickel backed up by Zion Gilbert. If it's me, that's the way I would probably want to go with that.
Yeah, I think I like I think as far as the corners go, I think Darnay's gone.
Well, you figure
obviously Rodarius is gone.
Jackson's making it.
Yeah, Jackson, Hawkins
Banks is making it. I think Flott's going to make it. That's already 4. I think the kid from Detroit is going to make it. The what's his name? Warrior. Thank you. I believe
McLeod.
He's going to make it, and Banks is going to make it. So I mean, and I think Zion Gilbert could potentially make it as well. So I think the odd man out, I believe, is going to be Holmes, and also you save some money by cutting Holmes.
I think they're only going to have 10 DBs. I think it's going to be the 4 safeties and 6 corners. And I think your 6 corners are going to be Banks, Hawkins, Adoree, Flott, McLeod, and Awarie. I think that's going to be your 6 for your corners, and then your 4 safeties. I think Zion Gilbert, I think he goes to the practice squad. I think Gilbert goes to the practice squad. They may put Bobby on the practice squad. I don't think that they would, but I think that they might do that. But I think Zion Gilbert is going to go to the practice squad.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who let the dogs out?
Bahaman.
Well, no, someone needs to let the dog out here and barking in the background.
Yeah, he's an annoying little fuck.
And of course, Rob is talking about the dogs. And don't forget to hit the like button when you come on in. We also have James saying, has anyone checked out Hard Knocks with the Jets? So funny to hear the players tell Aaron Rodgers, hey, man, I watched you in grade school. We got Cortez Smith saying, Kayvon. Where's Kayvon? We're going to talk about Kayvon, too. Kayvon would be great off stunts instead of the full blitz. Offensive line also needs reps against the stunts. Here's the problem with Kayvon. Kayvon had a great sack. But did anyone see who Kayvon beat?
Ike Ekwonu.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I know where he was drafted. I know his status, but yeah. It's not like he went up against Andrew Thomas. Or Orlando Pace. So these are guys that I expect them to beat. So, like I said, it's going to be a different game. We talked about that. Mike Lee says also Holmes will be a cap casualty. I do think Holmes is going to be gone. I'm not saying that Holmes can't play in the league, but I think if you look at the way the Giants are constructed, I think that's kind of the way they're going to go. And I think with the 2 rookies, with Hawkins and Banks, you're gonna, and I think Cordell Flott's got a little bit more clout because of who drafted Flott and who drafted Holmes. So I do think we're gonna go that way. I want to talk about the linebackers for a minute, Rob.
Sure.
Or the lack thereof. I think Azeez and Kayvon are really going to be. I think they're going to play more with their hands in the dirt. I think O'Shane Zimenez is a goner. I like Fox. We finally got a Carter Coughlin sighting towards the end of the 3rd and 4th quarter the other night. I think Beavers and McFadden can do certain things, but if I was to rely on both of them for an extended period of time against potentially covering the tight end or as run stoppers, I think we're going to run into some issues. I think Cam Brown is just Cam Brown. He's a good special teamer. You have Ward, of course, but Ward is more to me as a quasi defensive end than he is a linebacker. And you have Bobby Okereke. This isn't Banks, Taylor, Carsons, and Reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping with the cut down. And the only thing I don't like about this new rule about having one cut down day, the one thing is the fact that you are now literally going to have to wait to try to grab someone off of waivers.
Yeah, I think it's a big difference from last year because last year, we were 5th, right? So, you were, you stood a chance of getting somebody off the waiver because you were so low down on the poll. Now that you're at 25, it makes things a little bit harder. And a bunch of my buddies and I in some of the Twitter spaces have been talking, does that maybe motivate Joe Shane to try to make a trade, like maybe a player for player trade, as opposed to maybe cutting Darnay? Do you try to move him for, maybe a young linebacker that's like buried on the depth chart or something like that to try to get some value at that position, or maybe an interior lineman that's buried on the depth chart, right? Because you have a lot of good players on the roster and, or something like that. Right. So I think it's going to be interesting.
The only issue, not to stop you, but the only issue that I have with that, NFL GMs are smart enough to understand that more than likely, if there's a guy on the bubble, he's more than likely going to be gone unless you're only going to trade for him if you do not think he's going to either clear waivers or drop you down to waivers. That's why you see a lot of people's like, well, they should just trade him for a 7th round pick, and it never happens because a lot of times these GMs are smart enough to understand, yeah, he's going to clear waivers. And I'm not going to have to give up anything to get him. And I'm not going to have to pick up his, I'm not going to have to pick up his salary.
Yeah. And I think it depends on, right now, I think that there's a lot of probably some decent linebackers that might get picked up, that I don't know would make it to the 25 for them, like clear waivers for them to get. So I can see them potentially trying to make a trade. Like I said, a player for player trade. I mean, at once upon a time, we traded, Isaac Yadam, for for something. So, and I think that Darnay Holmes is
that was a little bit different.
No, but I think that Darnay is a better player than Isaac Yadam, or at least he holds more value and he's younger and everything like that. So, but it's going to be interesting. I think with Timon Fox, I actually think Timon Fox is going to probably be from passing situations. I think he's going to be third on the depth chart for pass rusher over Hattie. I don't think, so I think he's going to work it. I think he's working his way up to where he's going to be the third in rotation for, passing down situations to come in. But what I would have liked to see is, being that it's in preseason, with Beavers, he got limited amount of time at the middle linebacker spot. I would have liked to see him put him on the edge, because he did do a little bit of edge rushing in Cincinnati. Put him on the edge and see how he looks, coming off the edge as an edge rusher. See if you can get a little bit of extra depth with him, or somebody that you can move around. All in all, I think that going into the season, I think it's going to be Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke as the two starting interior linebackers. I think that that's where it's leaning. I did see that Micah McFadden was a little bit quicker to react and seeing things on Friday, as opposed to last year when he was a rookie. So we'll see what happens. But definitely, I mean, the interior linebacker room is definitely, question mark. But I do think, I could see a guy like Bauer, maybe possibly making it just to be a depth piece. He had some good reps, last week on Friday. Like I said, Timon Fox. Baldonado was kind of quiet last week on Friday as opposed to the week prior. So he, I didn't really see his name, getting called, but, so we'll see what happens. But, there were guys that were out there that were available. We just don't have the money. And that's another thing too. It's like, is Joe Shane, obviously I think that Joe Shane just wants to kind of let it ride with Dexter Lawrence and with Adoree Jackson as far as their contract situation. I know they were talking to Adoree last year, but obviously nothing's been done.
But Dexter Lawrence already got his contract.
No, not Dexter. I'm sorry. Leonard Williams. Sorry.
He's not doing anything with Leonard Williams. He's already come out and said he's not doing anything with Leonard Williams.
So it's like, it makes me wonder that, maybe not Dexter, but Leo, but maybe like with Adoree Jackson, he needs to free up some money, especially if maybe potentially he would like to make a move during the year or now to fill in some gaps. He's going to have to do something. The other option that's on the table, which is a possibility, is they could try to maybe do something with Daniel Jones's contract to try to free up some money. I think those are really the two options, is either going to be extending Adoree Jackson or doing something with Daniel Jones.
They can't do anything with Daniel Jones' contract this year because they gave him all that money in the bonus, and his salary is low this year.
So then it's going to have to be Adoree Jackson. He's going to have to do something.
It's going to have to be Leonard Williams or Adoree Jackson. And I don't think he is going to be. I don't think he's going to be motivated to do anything. We only have 18 likes. We had something at 75 people at the room at one point a few minutes ago, and we have 18 likes. Make sure you hit the like button when you come in. We also have Courts is saying that's how Dallas was getting the quarterback, by stunting Mr. Parsons throughout guard. You know what's funny? we could have had this guy named Parsons.
We could have.
Instead we took some guy named. Don't even talk about it. Hey, Tim, the Giants trade Shane Lemieux. Nope, I'm going to stop right there. We're not going to even trade Shane Lemieux. Let's see here. Shane Lemieux isn't even worth Shane Lemieux. Let's just Shane Lemieux is another one. And James just figured it out.
Inside the cage. Cage goes in the water. You go in the water. Sharks in the water. Our shark.
James Williams said, "Oh my God, Tim, is that Quint in the mouth of Jaws in the background?" Yes, that is Quint in the mouth of Jaws in the background. That was just for you, James Williams. Let's see here. Bronx Native says, "Tim, how many wide receivers do we keep?" According to Rob, we're keeping 11 and a half.
That's not what I said.
You said 9 at one point.
No, I said 8.
You're going to keep Darius Slayton. You're probably going to keep Sterling Shepard. Because there's that thing. You got Isaiah, you got Campbell, you got Hyatt. If anything, I not that I'm against Cole Beasley, but I would take Crowder and Colin Johnson over Cole Beasley.
I think Colin Johnson's getting cut.
And I think they have, and I think there you go. There's 7. There's 7 guys. I'm not keeping the dangerous David Sills.
No, I do not love David Sills at all.
I'm not keeping Bryce Ford Wheaton. I'm not keeping.
I actually think Bryce makes the roster over Colin Johnson because he got hurt.
You know what's interesting? And Mickens, he actually returned some punts the other day. So you're keeping 7 because according to Rob, he's keeping 47 defensive backs and 11 and a half safeties and 47 wide receivers. So I think you're going 7 on the wide receiver area. Because I also think you're going to potentially keep. I think you're going to keep Waller, of course, and Bellinger. And honestly, I think Cager's making this team.
Yeah, he is.
So that's your 3 tight ends. So you're not going to carry 3 tight ends and 8 wide receivers because you're not going to keep 12 in the skill position area. Because considering a lot of these guys also are not special teamers, and if you keep Cole Beasley and you dump either Johnson or Crowder, Cole Beasley is going to have to play special teams. And he is not what we would refer to as a adequate special teams guy.
Yeah, I mean, I personally I don't think that Colin Johnson's making the team. I think the injury that he suffered, I think is going to be his downfall. I think he's probably might get moved to the practice squad, if anything. And Joe Shane was talking pretty highly of Bryce Ford Wheaton, especially, with his special teams contribution. I think that Bryce Ford Wheaton is a very good chance that he takes Colin Johnson's spot on the 53.
But the problem is we don't know what he can do as a wide receiver. He doesn't return punts and he's not returning kicks. He can't
be a gunner.
We only have 53 men on the roster. We're not going to have a guy that could just be a gunner.
Yeah, but I don't think they're worried about
not Renee Thompson.
I don't think that they need him to return kicks. That's what Eric Gray's for.
But you need Eric Gray's not going to be returning kicks for very long this season.
He's gonna. They did it with Gary Brightwell. Gary Brightwell was returning kicks the entire year. So Eric
Gray is not going to. Eric Gray is going back to the old school Giants. Is Leon Bright? Leon Bright in the 80s was a punt returner for the Giants and a kick returner, and that's all he did. I was on the bad team of the early 80s, and this is all he did. But the Leon Bright's claim to fame with the New York Giants was he never took a fair catch. I believe he still has the longest streak without ever taking a fair catch. And he ended his career, I believe it was in Philadelphia, because he didn't take the fair catch. And Philadelphia rocked the shit out of him. And the only thing about him was he always caught the ball, but you consistently got 6 yards. And that's Eric Gray. And you cannot live special teams. People, I always think that sometimes people neglect special teams because it's not really like a big thing in Madden that you have your special teams. Special teams we saw what happened on that punt return in Detroit against our special teamers, and Bryce Ford Wheaton was on the field that play. So with special teams can make you and break you. And I like I said, I think that the Dable is smart enough to understand that, listen, I need a guy that can play special teams, but I also need a guy that can do other things on the field. And having you like I said, unless you are an all-pro, unless you're Steve Tasker, an all-time special teamers, I don't see it happening. And especially because of the fact that then you are going to take away one of those wide receiver spots.
I think with the kickoff, it doesn't necessarily matter with the new rule, but I think like it's. For me, I think like I said, the way he was talking about Bryce Ford Wheaton, I think Bryce Ford Wheaton is definitely going to make the roster, and he's going to be able to play special teams.
Talking about Bryce Ford Wheaton, that's not Dable.
Yeah, but Shane has a say, and also in who doesn't make.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. Shane is not going to worry about himself on the 51st, 52nd, 53rd spots, unless there's contract value in there. I don't think that they offered him or gave him the money that they gave him as a undrafted rookie if they didn't plan on him making the 53-man roster. They gave him that before they even knew what they had. But you're not going to sit there and you're not going to take away one of your wide receiver positions.
I'm just looking at him and Colin Johnson. Colin Johnson's not going to be playing special teams. So, and I think with the injury with Colin Johnson, I think it opens up the possibility for Bryce Ford Wheaton to take his spot.
But here's the other thing. If you then go Campbell, Beasley, and I think, like I said, I think Crowder's making the team because Crowder does a lot of different things on this thing. And if he's going to be, he makes more sense as a 7th wide receiver than Bryce Ford Wheaton does.
I think that they're going to get 8. They're going to have 8 wide receivers for at least the first few weeks.
See, I can't see them carrying 12 guys positionally.
I think they're going to carry 8. And I don't think Jamison Crowder makes the roster. I think Cole Beasley makes the roster. I think it's going to be Slayton. It's going to be Hodgins. It's going to be Hyatt. It's going to be Campbell. It's going to be Shep. It's going to be Beasley. It's going to be Bryce Ford Wheaton. And I feel like I'm missing somebody. Wandale Robinson.
Wandale Robinson's going to be on the pup.
No, he's not. He's coming off pup this week.
Just because you come off the pup doesn't mean you start. You got to play. We're looking at week 1 here, guys.
Yeah, but just because he's coming off the pup, I mean, like if he's coming off the pup, he's going to be on the active roster unless he goes back on pup before week 1. But Joe Shane said last night he's coming off the pup this week.
I will see it when I believe it. I remember Odell Beckham was coming back to play last year. I remember that extensively.
Yeah, but that was from fans, not from the GM.
That was actually from Odell. James Williams says we need a Chase Blackburn on this squad, not a high pick like the guy, dude, who just got in from the mud, earned his spot, just play hard, then rock and make plays. Well, I think Chase is a coach now. I like that kid Ivan Pace Jr. over in Minnesota. I think he's probably going to make the Minnesota roster. He reminds me of the late great Sam Mills. He's at 5'10", 231 pounds. He's out of Cincinnati. I liked him out of Cincinnati. He's a good active kid, but I think he's actually probably going to make the roster over in Minnesota. But he would be a good. We need a stout middle, a stout run stopping middle linebacker. I'm not saying that Bobby Okereke is that, but Bobby Okereke is going to be a little bit busy also in coverage. So we need a guy that we actually, James is right. We need a Chase Blackburn-esque type player who can do all the little things. In some ways it's funny, but he's still in Washington. We need a David Mayo in some regards.
David Mayo
who could not cover a bed with a blanket was actually a fairly effective run stopper.
Blake Martinez.
Blake is too busy getting hammered by Pokemon cards or whatever he got, or whatever trouble he got in the other day with the Pokemon cards.
Yeah, he got banned for scamming or something like that. And really quickly, was it Larosity? If that's how you pronounce your name, I don't. If Colin Johnson is okay, I don't think that they choose Colin Johnson over Sterling Shepard. I don't say Shepard is making the. I don't get why people think that Sterling Shepard's not making this team. I don't understand that.
You mean he's not making the team over Bryce Ford Wheaton?
Who?
Sterling Shepard.
No, I mean Shepard's making this team.
Yeah, Shepard's definitely making the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't get why people think that he's not making the team. I don't get that. He's making the team.
Let's run through some of these. We're behind. We have Zach donated a membership, OG membership, over to Mr. Cortez, and he says that he also wants to remind me about the Isaac Yiadom bus fund. Yes, we still have the $1.78 that we have when we were going to get Isaac Yiadom a bus ticket. Eric says I haven't heard anyone talk about the tight ends. I believe it will make a huge difference. We're going to carry 3 tight. We did just talk about tight ends. We're going to carry 3 tight ends. We're going to do a lot of 2 tight end sets. If you're going to go after Waller, hopefully Bellinger is going to be sitting there in the middle of the field as well, kind of like what happened with the touchdown. We got Michael saying, good morning. Hello, everyone.
We're going to get Rob Gronkowski out of retirement.
Yeah, we're going to do all these things. Just woke up in my truck at work. Well, hopefully you weren't driving at the time. Yes, and like I said, we did say that is for that, James. I'm a little bit behind. Mr. Alvarez in the house say that the Daniel Jones, if they are not careful, could end up being the new Leonard Williams contract where we're going to be stuck since they overpaid. No, you're only going to be stuck into years 3 of the contract, and you're going to be having $18 million issue in that year, but you're stuck this year and next year, and this year is not a bad salary, and it's fine. I mean, like I said, if Daniel Jones can play effectively, and if Daniel Jones can continue, his maturation, the Giants are going to be fine. And I've said this before. If Daniel Jones, though, Rob, goes into the mud, he gets stuck in the muck and the mire. Don't forget to like when you come into the room. The Giants season isn't going to go anywhere. But if he's the effective Daniel Jones that we saw on the one drive, the Giants should be fine. Especially when you add the likes of Saquon Barkley in the backfield and the 14.5 wide receivers Robs is carrying.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. Who would think we'd be talking about Daniel Jones like that? Zach Attack says Rob loves the dangerous David Sills. It was funny at the game the other day because dangerous David Sills. Everyone was getting a nickname, like it was the elusive Tommy DeVito. And then at one point in time, we had been drinking so much, everyone was just a dangerous blank. So Beasley is a Dable guy. So yeah, he's got a shot to make team. Sterling James says Sterling Shepard, glad to see him playing back from injury. But any updates on Wandale? We're gonna find out about Wandale soon. Adrian says, I think we might run a lot of 2 tight end sets. Reminds me of Shockey and Boss days. I think we're going to go that way. Let's see here. Jones's contract won't be an issue if we extend Leo. Hopefully putting the good back on the good numbers can restructure his cap through this year and through the extension. That's not going to happen. Mike Lee says 6 yards if he's lucky. I recall that's Leon Bright. It's not 6 yards. It was more like 3 to 4 yards. I was actually being nice. Cortez Smith says our gunners are so bad. I don't disagree. And I think special teams are, I think if we're going to I think you're going to have an Achilles heel right now with the Giants, Rob. I think it's going to be your guard play. I think it's going to be your linebacker play. And I think it's going to be special teams. I think those are going to be the 3 things I think could be to the downfall and detriment of this team in 2023.
Yeah, I think the interior linebacker room is a question mark. The interior offensive line. I think we've got some good depth at the DB room. I think the D line, you got good depth. Wide receiver room, you've got depth. Got good quality players. No, like standout guys. Tight end room, I think, is good. So yeah, I would agree. I think it's going to be the interior line and the or offensive line and the interior linebackers. To me, is the biggest question marks right now going into the season.
I'm trying to see where Wandale Robinson's coming off the pup.
He said it in his interview when he was in the box with Bob Papa and Carl Banks.
Because I realize I'm seeing right now saying that he could potentially miss the first month of the season.
Yeah, when I was in the space yesterday, they were saying that he said yesterday via like in an interview that he was coming off the pup. He anticipated him coming off the pup this week.
So he anticipates. He doesn't know if he's going to come off.
Or either anticipates or he said he is coming off the pup. Something along those lines.
Because I am looking here. I am looking. I am looking here. So he tore his ACL in week 11 against the Lions. I think it was was it week 11?
Yeah.
The Lions on week 11. When was that?
Week 11. He had his surgery like the first week of December. I think it was like December 8th is when he had his surgery.
Yeah, he's not coming off the pup. Unless he is having a Adrian Peterson moment. I don't see that happening.
Well, today with medicine and recovery, you can come back from an ACL and recover from it in like 6 or 7 months.
I'm going to tell you something about ACL surgeries. Even back in the day, you needed at least a year because of the fact that you have to rebuild the muscles around the ligaments around your ACL. And this is coming from a guy that tore his ACL twice and had ACL replacement surgery where my patella tendon is now my ACL, and also had tears in the meniscus and mid meniscus. So it's I don't see that happening. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. Zach Attack says, don't put Adoree Jackson as the punt returner. No, we don't want to do that. If Johnson is Crowder and Shep are gone, I think Shep makes the team. Irish Rover says, we have a special teams problem that needs to be addressed. I don't think the special teams problem is the coach. I know Dable gave the glare to what's his name? To Thomas. I don't think it was a coaching. I just think sometimes, and like I said, I think people need to understand special teams is a very interesting nuance. Everyone thinks that if you're just in the low 50s on the roster or in the high 40s, that you're going to play special teams and you're going to play well. No, sometimes you actually need guys that know and understand how to play special teams. And I think a lot of times special teams is more about desire than it is about talent, because you have to have the will and you have to have the desire to run. I played special teams when it wasn't like the rules now. But you had to keep your head. People need to understand this. When you are, especially on kickoffs, you run down the field, and as you're running down the field, you're also tracking the ball. So you're running, you're kind of looking up. You're running, you're kind of looking up. If you ever watch guys play special teams, the good ones do this. You run, you look up because you have to track the ball and where it's going. And once you get a track of the ball, then you kind of put your head down and you run even faster, full steam. But the problem is, as you're running and looking up, there's another guy on the other end coming back at you. And then, yes, I understand they changed the rules, but they're not going to change all the nuances because I think special teams will always have a serious importance, Rob, in this league itself.
Yeah, I think special teams is a little bit. I mean, maybe not kickoff, but I think like from punting and stuff like that. I definitely think that it's underviewed and maybe because there's not a lot of big things, but I think that when you're playing tough games, if you can get a nice punt return, it can change the momentum of a game.
We got 103 people in the room and only 36 likes. Make sure you go and like it. James Williams says, I just want all the men to know in the chat, I'm sitting here watching my girlfriend put shoe rack together from Target and wondering how long the rack is going to last. I'm going to give it a week and a half because that's usually how shoe racks last. I have to talk to James Williams afterwards because my wife is mad at James Williams. Joe Rev says, finally made it, fellas. Good morning. Now, let's see here. I think we answered this question. I see Shep making the team. I think we answered that question. Would you bring back JPP? You know me. Because it's JPP. I love JPP. JPP is one of my favorite Giants of all time. Would I bring him back, Rob? No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he's kind of cooked at this point in his career. Maybe if we suffered an injury, maybe, but no, I think he's cooked.
Let's see here. I also think Brightwell is gone due to the consistently great showing of Corbin has made. I like Corbin.
I do too. Unfortunately, I don't think Corbin's making the 53.
I think Corbin I think he actually may make the team. And I'd like to see him next week try to return some kicks. Because the only one that's effectively run in these last two preseason games was Corbin.
Yeah, but I mean, who's going to make they're not going to get rid of Matt Breida. They're not going to probably carry 4 running backs. Maybe they carry 4 running backs. I don't know, but I doubt it. And Eric Gray's already going to probably more than likely make the team. So
I don't know. I loved Eric. I mean, like I said, I think Eric Gray is a great kid. I liked him what I saw in camp, but I'm just not liking what I see on the field. And I thought
he played better this week
against Carolina.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not about. Yeah, but I mean, it's not about who he's just look. At the end of the day, you have to take advantage of the opportunities of the team.
Well, he didn't because he still averaged under 3 yards a carry, and all of his yards came on the 1 9-yard run.
Yeah, but we can't shit on the backups that we have, and then expect him to average 5 yards per carry.
I'm not asking him to average 5 yards a carry. I'm actually asking to show some vision and show a burst.
He did. I thought he did a little bit here and there, and I definitely think it was a touchdown. I don't think they gave
it was not a touchdown. He was down. Everyone in the stadium said he was down, and we were all laughing because of it's preseason. It doesn't matter. You know what's funny? We're standing on the sidelines. We're all laughing because we're all sitting there going, "It's preseason. It doesn't matter. They're going to give it to him." Because what are he's going to do next? Just dive in after one play? So it's good. They just want. I'll tell you this: preseason games roll along. It used to be back in the day. Preseason games would take like 4 or 5 hours. That game kicked off at 7. We were done by 10. I mean, they kept that they're keeping these suckers just rolling along down the preseason, which is awesome because you know what? It's a lot more fun when you're not sitting there, waiting to see the Kentucky Flash come in who's never going to make the squad and have to run the plays. But it was actually a good it was actually a fun preseason game. It was a good game. O-line depth is atrocious. It is like a tale of two teams. I'm worried about the depth, Rob, on the O-line. I'm also worried about our guards. I'm worried about both.
Same.
I have concerns. Don't forget to hit the like button when you jump in. We have over 100 people in the room, only 39 likes. I worry that the guard position and the interior line completely is going to stunt the growth a little bit of JMS.
I think if they are going into this thing rotating, yes, but they need to figure out. I think they need to solidify their starting 5. They need to.
I think it's going to be Neal, Glowinski, Schmitz, Bredesen, Thomas. I think that is the lineup they went with 2 days ago.
I think that who we saw on Friday is more than likely going to be their starting five. With Ben Bredesen, JMS, Kowinski.
That was the 5 starters on the opening series.
Yeah, and I think that's more than likely, and that was the starting 5 last, minus JMS, but
right.
I think that was the starting 5 pretty much 4 out of the 5 last year. So to start the season, so we'll see what happens with it, but I definitely think that I still think that there's a world, which I'm not advocating for, but I still think that there is a world where they bring in Justin Pugh, unfortunately, to play, potentially play that left guard spot if they feel that is still a weak point of the offensive line. And I think that Glowinski is still a weak point in the offensive line, but at least he's a veteran. Maybe you get another veteran opposite of your rookie center. But I still think that there's a slim possibility that happens where they bring back Justin Pugh to play the left guard spot, unfortunately.
Mike Lee says, just like the OBJ anticipation playing last year, there's a difference between recovering and game ready. And I know people don't understand that. Like I know. I know. Rob is right. I heard the same interview. I agree. Let's see. We have the Scottish Hammer is not a good punter. I laugh because the Scottish Hammer, we were watching the warm-ups, and OGR had complimented the punter for Carolina. And he goes, I just wish the Hammer would do this. Look how good he's punting. And we were joking about that. And then the punter comes into the game, and then he prominently kicks a 33-yard punt. So I was like, yeah, okay. Tim is a $6 million man with all the surgery. I'm actually out of work recovering from a torn rotator cuff surgery myself. It sucks. It does, Mr. McCormick. I was at the I had a bunch of doctor's appointments this week because it turns out I have and
just a quick little update here. Just got some breaking news. The Aaron Rodgers will be starting Saturday against the New York Giants.
And the Giants aren't going to be playing anybody.
I think they play their starters on defense.
I think if Wink is still looking for a rotational thing, I think then he figure out his rotation, then he does. But I don't think they're going to risk anything with the biggest game of the season being Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. Rob's like, I'm just gonna keep nodding my head. I'm just gonna keep nodding my head because
I wouldn't mind seeing the starters again. I wouldn't mind seeing Jones going against Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I already sold my ticket.
I don't think they would. I don't think they will either. But I wouldn't mind seeing. But at the end of the day, like they got a pretty good defense there in with the Jets. I don't know if anybody's watching Hard Knocks, but the guy McDonald, looks like he's going to be a little bit of a freak this year. He's very, very fast, very strong.
Okay, we don't talk about the Jets. This is called Giants football. Not Jets football, Giants football. All right. Do you think we pick up Pugh before Week 1 if we still need help at the guard spot? I think we talked about Pugh for a minute there. I don't think we pick him up. I don't think we're going to pick up Pugh.
Pepe Le Pew?
Pepe Le Pew. I don't think he's not Pepe Le Pew, but he's James Williams said Eric Gray is literally our Rudy. Zach says Corbin is averaging 4 yards a carry. Let's see here. Do you think Anthony Barr is still a possibility in addition to the Giants linebacker? Now Barr came. There was a debate whether Barr was even going to come in for a visit because at one point in time he said he was with the Saints. Didn't sign with the Saints. He came, then there was talk process that he wasn't going to come in for a giant visit. Then he did come in for a giant visit, but then they said there was no anything intimate in regards to a contract. I don't know honestly, I don't really know, Rob, if Anthony Barr is an upgrade.
I don't think we're bringing in Anthony Barr, and I don't think he's an upgrade either. I think, he really didn't do much last year anyway, and with Dallas, with a good defense there. So I think he's washed at this point in his career.
I mean, 30 years old. What do you have? I know we had, I don't know. I couldn't time to pull it up. He had, I think, like 50 tackles, and I think 14 games. something like that with Dallas. So, I mean, I think he's a guy that it's just kind of time to move on. James Williams, is hit the like button when you walk into the club. OG Knockout says, are there any cut players you guys like that the Giants should pick up? We'll find that out once we get down to cut down day. Because the cut down day, but I don't think there's anyone on the waiver wire right now, Rob, that I'm sitting there going, this is a guy that, they made a mistake cutting this early.
No, I mean, there's nobody really there. I know Greedy Williams got cut. Rodarius Williams, his cousin or brother or something like that.
Both brothers got cut on the same day.
That's kind of funny. So
what would it be if the Giants didn't turn around and sign Greedy?
That would be kind of funny.
Fucked up.
I mean, it would be fucked. Hey, we don't like you, but we'll take your brother.
We have always liked your brother.
We like your brother better than you.
Mom always liked you best.
I don't think they make that move, but I don't see anybody, really that's been cut. I mean, look, we still need depth at the edge rusher position. I think interior linebacker, offensive line. When you look at the offensive line, guys that are still available, Justin Pugh, Dalton Reisner, those are guys that are still or Risner. Those are guys that are still available if you want to have them come in and try to maybe potentially compete. Interior linebackers, there's nobody that's really available or there. Just saw, Miles Jack, who was signed by Philadelphia. He just told them he's going to retire. So they signed him. I thought maybe Zach Cunningham would have been a guy that we might have potentially brought in with bringing in the guy from Tennessee. I thought that would have been a name to watch, but he signed with Philadelphia as well during training camp. If they cut him, maybe, right? Maybe they bring him in potentially. Not really too sure. He's a good run stuffer. And I mean, that's really about it. That's really it. So I think it's really just going to come down to if there's a guy that this is what I would say. And I was talking about this with some friends of mine. I would definitely be watching Hard Knocks and watching this game on Saturday. We claimed 2 guys off the Jets last year in Lawrence Cager and Justin Pinnock, both of which contributed to us last year. And more than likely Pinnock is going to be our starting safety this year. Just keep an eye out for their roster and guys that, that they may cut and get rid of. One guy, as far as the linebacker position, he's like a quarterback converted linebacker. I don't know his name, but he's like really, really fast. And I know Robert Saleh is like in love with him, but I saw him. He makes some nice plays. They brought that name up as a guy that potentially may not make the roster just due to depth. Whether he makes it to us at the waiver, I don't know. But that, I think if we're going to pick anybody up, it might be from like either the Lions or the Jets, just because we played those 2 teams and they have some pretty good depth at positions that we need help at.
We'll have to wait and see. And Rob, once again, gives that big shout out to Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
You're supposed to be shouting out Mint Mobile, the greatest carrier of all time. If you're looking for a cell phone service and looking for anything better on the largest 5G network, it's also on the T-Mobile network. You want Mint Mobile, so go to mintmobile.com/Big Blue and get yourself that special discount for just being awesome. James Williams says, I love how Wink called out Kayvon. He definitely needs to get the jump forward this year as the guys on defense that are opposing offenses are going to be looking for. Kayvon needs to step up. Kayvon, you always talk about people needing to make a Herculean leap this year. And I think Kayvon is going to, and I'm going to say this once again, everyone remembers Kayvon's last 3-4 games of the season, our last 3 games of the season. No one remembers the other 14. You need to be consistent. You are the 5th overall pick. It is time. You need to make it. You need to make that leap, and you need to move forward. And I like the fact that Wink is riding him like Zorro and telling him, "Hey, listen, you need to step up because you know what? The defense is going to rely on you and Azeez Ojulari to rush the passer. You're going to need to be that presence."
I mean, shit. The first snap, he dropped them both in coverage.
Yeah.
So I mean, Wink, come on, bro. Come on, Wink.
Wink has a philosophy. We also have, how did Malik Willis do? Malik Willis played all last night. I watched the game. Much better in his progressions. They didn't throw the ball that much. He had a bunch of drops. The tight end dropped two passes, 2 series in a row for first downs, but they did win the game. He had more yards rushing than he did receiving. But, if you want to compare him, it would be a Daniel Jones-esque game
I'm sorry. Is this Tennessee Titans football or New York Giants football?
It is Tennessee Titans football. Tighten up, baby. But he actually played well. He looked very fluid in the pocket. He looked good. Like I said, the only problem is he was playing with all the second and third teamers. And Will Levis seems to be hurt, and they weren't going to play Tannehill. So Willis had to do the do. Kevin said Shane is going to take all the linebackers and offensive line depth we need, just like he did with the wide receivers and defensive room. I like I said, we're going to talk about. I want to talk about Jalen Hyatt in a second. But I want to get a lot of these because Wolfie's in the house. Wolfie says, "Hey Tim, what's up? Just made the stream." Any word on Wan'Dale Robinson? Everyone's telling me he's getting activated or he's coming off the pup. We will wait and see. Zach said, "Didn't the starters play last year with the Jets?" No. The starters, I was at the game last year. No, it was a bad game.
No, but no, because I don't think we had a joint practice with them.
Yeah, they didn't. That was one of the worst games that I've ever been to in preseason games. It's preseason. Manny, do you guys think the starters will play? No, we don't think they're going to play against the Jets. Let's see. Little Bulldozer says, "Why would you not take a chance on Greedy Williams for a slot wide receiver? Because of the fact that you still have Cordell Flott and Adoree Jackson's going to play in the slot." Michael says, "Not going to lie. It's kind of annoying how it's another year of what."
Done.
Let's see here. Wait a minute, hold on. I got a text message from someone in the chat. Hold on. Let's see here. Let's see. Nice. I just wanted to ask Rob if he got enough donations to see his dad in Florida. Hope all is well. We'll talk about that later. We're not going to. Someone texted me that. No, so that's a nice person. Let's see here. Let's see. Zacatag said, "How did Banks and Hawkins fare?" The only thing you know what's funny? Here we go. I wanted to say something. The only thing that bothered me about Banks is after the game. Banks had his arm all wrapped up. So hopefully there is nothing going on there.
I didn't hear anything. Like, he just got a bruise or something. Or
I'm hoping we got the Big Don also dropping in 5 gifts to sports member, the online Big G OG memberships. I want to always thank out the Big Don. But he had this taped wrapped. You know what's funny? He around the third quarter, he didn't have this on. And then going into he stopped playing after the first half. And then after the second, I would say going into the second series of the fourth quarter, then this appeared on his arm. Now you could tell it's an ice pack.
Yeah, it's an ice pack.
Hopefully maybe it's just a bruise. Hopefully he just had something, but it's not. I mean, like I said, I just thought that was that wasn't something that was reported.
He looks like when you're on the field, like he looks bigger.
Like Banks is a big kid. I've met
like when I say big, like it looks like he looks like a thick kid.
He is a big man. I met him. We had the pictures of him up, but he is solidly built. He is a solidly built kid. I mean, if you're looking for a guy, and that's why I think the Giants, of course, drafted him. If you're looking for a guy that fits the Wink system and has the size and physicality to play a Wink's defense, I definitely think is going to here he is after series. Like I said, he's not a small man.
Do we think? Let me ask you this question. This is probably off topic, but do we think that some of these rookies keep the numbers that they have right now?
Yeah,
because they have an opportunity to change it before the season starts. Correct?
Yeah, they do, but I think I don't think anyone's going to be changing their numbers. We got the Big Don dropping in the big $4 sticker. Thank you, Big Don. I'm going to get to that in a minute as well, because Don's also dropping in the memberships. Make sure you go out and thank Big Don for giving out the OG memberships. Get all the videos early. Get a lot of other fun stuff. But Banks and Hawkins, I will say this: Banks played better than Hawkins. Hawkins got burned on what would have been a big play, but it came back as a hold.
Hold on offense?
Hawkins on defense.
No, but I'm saying, but they got a hold. Like the defense got called for holding.
The Carolina offense got called for a hold.
Okay.
So the penalty came back, but he got turned around. I will say this: the only thing that concerns me about Hawkins right now, and this is going to come with more game reps, is he is very susceptible to the double move. And he has a tendency of getting himself twisted up coming into coverage because he doesn't exactly know what to do. And like I said, he was drafted where he was for a reason. And like I said, he played well.
I like that, Orlando.
Oh, the bank's closed early on Sunday. I saw that too. We're gonna get to that.
I like that. I'm gonna use that this year. I'm gonna use that.
I think Banks played better. I think Banks is definitely going to be the starter, and I think Hawkins is going to be on the field as well quite a bit this year coming up. But I do think that Hawkins did not fare as well as he did against Detroit. And I think more and more he plays, the more and more teams are going to try to expose him. And like I said, it's nothing against him. It's just, that's just the NFL. People are going to attack Banks the first couple of weeks as well.
Yeah.
They're going to stay away from Adoree and they're going to go after Banks.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, I think going into week 1, that's going to be your starting DBs at the corner. I think it's going to be Banks and Hawkins on the outside, Adoree in the slot. That's mainly where CeeDee Lamb takes a lot of his snaps is from the slot, and I think you're going to have your best corner there. I don't know if it's going to stay like that the whole year, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be Banks and Hawkins on the outside, Adoree in the slot for week 1.
I basically think I don't think Adoree's going in the slot. I did a whole video about it. I even said slot going to happen. Adoree is going to mirror Lamb. So if Lamb's in the slot, that's where he's going. Lamb goes to the outside, that's where he's going. It's not going to be so in other words, if CeeDee Lamb is not in the slot, Adoree's not going to be sitting there. You're not going to take your best cover corner that you're paying X amount of money and put him in as a slot receiver if the best wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys is not sitting there in that position. That would be ludicrous.
I mean, we'll see what happens with it.
Let's put it this way. You have he takes the majority of snaps in the slot. He goes to the outside. So you are going to let Banks or Hawkins take CeeDee Lamb and then hope it goes well? Because Dak is going to go right there.
I think if he goes on the outside and then you have one of the rookies there, they're going to have safety help. I think they'll help whatever side CeeDee Lamb is on.
They're going to have safety help either way if it's in the slot or anything because of the fact that he's CeeDee Lamb.
I think they'll put him on, like if Adoree's on him in the slot, I think they'll put Adoree on an island with him and not give Adoree any help.
That's what but I still think you're going to give him help because I love Adoree Jackson, but I still think you're going to against CeeDee Lamb. I think you're still going to give him. I don't care who you are, unless you're Darrelle Revis. He is a guy, especially for Dallas. If you're going to be, if you want to fixate on one player that you need to slow down, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb. Is he as good? Well, because it's the most important game of the season. Mr. Albert says, I'm pretty sure the linebackers you're talking about is Chaz. Who's Chaz? Chaz Lamborghini? I like Chaz Lamborghini. I just like the name Chaz. Let's see. Don't worry. We've been saying we're going to fix the offensive line since Gettleman. Let's see. Mr. Albert says they're going to try to fix the O-line. They're going to keep picking the wrong guys moving. I'm not going to worry about the O-line. I'm not going to worry. It's going to be what it's going to be, and we're going to have to just, we're just gonna have to pray a little bit. OG says, I think Kayvon is going to be the next DeMarcus Lawrence. Just okay. I don't think so. I think he's gonna be fine. I thought Big Bobby was gonna be deemed a starter. Should the Giants go with rookie Hawkins over him? Yeah, they play two different positions. Here we go for you. The banks are closed on Sunday.
I like that.
Just to throw a monkey in the wrench, flying the ointment, Hans. What about online banking? I deposit checks all the time on Sunday.
God.
We got the big $4 super sticker, of course, from the Big Don, who also gave out those big memberships, though. Let's see. What are y'all thoughts on Neal? I think he looks the same as last year. He is getting killed by third string guys. I think he's going to be. I'm not going to say Neal's going to be fine because I don't know. Because all Neal has gone up against is truly second and third.
I don't think Neal was getting killed last night. He wasn't getting killed on Friday.
There was some plays. There was some plays that he looked a little slow of foot.
He's definitely faster getting out of his stance for sure.
Yes,
compared to last year.
There are some plays that if this was the regular season against a quality defensive end, that he would have had some issues. Was he as bad as Matt from Connecticut? No, but there was he had his share of issues. I do want to talk about Jalen Hyatt for a second because I think Jalen Hyatt had that breakout game. It's not the Victor Cruz preseason game, but I think he showed a little something there. He had his first throw at him. He dropped the ball. First throw comes out of the gate. hits him in the hands. He drops the ball. And I was laughing because I'm not going to say who it was because I'm standing there and they go, look at that 84. He's another Tim Carter. Like, that's who this is going to be. It's Tim Carter. Look at him just dropping the ball. And then you got a couple plays later, he catches the touchdown. And the same person goes, look, I told you he's Randy Moss. And I know they were just joking, but I think he showed some of his capability. He showed some of his moves. He showed some of his ability that you thought he was going to. He had the nice move on the touchdown. I was laughing because of the fact that usually when you have a throw like that and it's such a long time for the ball seemingly to come down, a lot of times people drop those because of the fact that you think it's going to be such an easy catch, but he pulled it in and he had a couple more receptions after that. And I think that's the kind of game he's going to have. I think he's going to have maybe one big play for like 30, 40 yards, and he's going to have a bunch of 7-yard catches. I think that's what you're going to see throughout the entire season with him. And I think that people just need to calm down a little bit because, the offense is going to run through Waller and it's going to run through Isaiah and it's going to run through Barkley. But I think he's going to be a complimentary player. And like I said, if he catches 35 balls for averages 17 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns, I think he's a quality season for him.
Yeah. And I sent you a DM, which is a tweet with an image on there, which these are the types of plays right here. Again, it's in preseason, but these are the types of plays that, like, clean pocket, and when you look at it, just because we're talking about him, right, with Jalen Hyatt, these are opportunities. And again, I understand that it's against Carolina Panthers, but these are the types of plays and chances that you have to pull the trigger on. Still a good gain to Darren Waller. And I'm sure people, if Tim pulls it up, people are going to understand, the play. But, these are the shots. There's no way, like, if you launch this ball, there's no way that Jalen is not catching this. He's and with his speed, you got 2 guys on him. He's already got what looks to be a step and a half, in front of, the 2 defenders that are running with him. You put that on a little bit of a rainbow, he'll let him run underneath it. There's no way that he's not. That's a touchdown. Like that's the difference when you're playing teams like the Bills, the Niners, the Cowboys. This is the difference between, maybe you getting a field goal on a drive and a drive stalls out versus you putting 7 points on the board.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up here. I can't do a screenshot grab here. I'm trying to pull it out. Let's see here. I see what you're looking at. Here's the only problem I have with this, and it's from Big Dash, so it was thought out. Here's the only problem with this, and I actually talked to I forget the name of the guy from WFAN on Twitter the other day, because the fact that we were talking about the worst thing that they've ever done was put the game replays up on these systems, because what happens is people oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'll put it out there for you.
See if I can get it up. There you go. The only problem is when you do a screen grab, you're just grabbing one second, not even 1/10 of a second of the play.
No, for sure.
You have to roll the entire play. And then you have to also understand that even with any quarterback, I don't care if his name is Daniel Jones or Bob Johnson, certain plays are designed to go to certain spots. And
correct.
sometimes you have to remember that. And you have to, like I said, this is the only thing I don't like it's the same thing with the screen grab 2 weeks ago with Jalen Hyatt going across the field. And everyone's like, well, you should have made that throw. And then we took a look at it and said, well, if you actually watch the play, he's throwing the ball full stride across his body to the middle of the field with a trailer. And I laugh because, speaking of Malik Willis had a play yesterday where it was kind of similar to what Tyrod did. And Tyrod checked down. Malik tried to throw it across the middle of the field, across his body, didn't see the trailer, and it was intercepted. That's the difference between a 12-year veteran and a guy who's played 5 games.
No, and the thing is, like, with the touchdown that Hyatt scored in this game, right? Tyrod got hit, didn't have a very good pocket. Eric Gray missed the block on the blitzer coming in. But, like, right here, you got a clean pocket here for the most part. I know number 2 is coming available, but 1, why do we have 3 guys blocking this dude right here? I don't understand that. this guy's getting double teamed, and then you got two people here. But for the most part, obviously, Waller's wide open. I know you've got a corner right here, but if you launch this, Danny, and you launch it right up in between these two hash marks here, because clearly this guy is going after Waller. This guy's already beat. I don't know who this is, but this guy's already cooked. There's no way that this corner is catching up to Jalen Hyatt. I'm sorry, but if you launch it, put it on a rainbow, Jalen Hyatt is the fastest person on this field right now.
But
And
what I would actually like to see is the entire play, not just a screenshot. I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm saying this is the problem. The problem is everyone tries to dissect the play, and they go to NFL Plus and they pull all the game film down. They try to dissect the play, but showing just a tenth of a second of a play doesn't show the play. And the correct read for Daniel Jones in this offense may have been to go to Waller. I'm not telling you wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. But I'm just saying I can't tell that by a tenth of a second of the play.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. But where I'm going to push back on you is this may be a design where it's going to go to Waller, right? But as a quarterback, I don't think that Brian Dable would be upset if this was supposed to go to Waller, but yet you have your playmaker right here in Jalen Hyatt that becomes available. And instead of throwing it to where maybe they want you to throw it, you take the shot. And if that's 6 points.
Just out of curiosity, where is Jalen Hyatt's body positioned?
It almost kind of looks like he's running like angled up this
almost
way.
diagonal. Now look at the guy. I know you're saying this guy's not going to catch Jalen Hyatt, the corner or the safety that's sitting over here, but he is positioned diagonally. He also can come through diagonally. He also understands if you're a good player or a good corner, you understand positionally that you could take the correct angle to get into a play. Now I'm thinking Daniel Jones is seeing this guy. Like I said, Daniel Jones could be potentially seeing that guy right there. Seeing Hyatt,
guy right here.
That guy right there. Thank you. I was trying to. It's like you can't see when I do it. Seeing that guy right there. You look at how he has his position of his body. Daniel Jones is going to have to try to throw it into a spot probably around the 30, and then hope that the guy there is not going to figure out to take. It doesn't take the correct angle and come in and either break up the play and then either or potentially intercept it when he's got a 20 yard or 15-yard catch to a wide open Waller in the middle of the field.
No, and I know that. And Zach, here's the thing. These are the two safeties right here. These are the two safeties. This is a corner. This is a corner. Right. Here's your corner here. The thing is too, like, I get what you're saying, right? His body looks like he's kind of going angled up this way.
Diagonal.
But if you lob that,
but
and you put it, he could adjust. Like the receiver he should be able to adjust to that.
Here's the thing, but he's a rookie, so he may not adjust to it. And here's the thing: if you draw a line diagonally, just go take, the way he's positioned, take your mouse and kind of go diagonal. You just go diagonally the way his body's positioned. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, stop. Now look where you're positioned in against the corner.
Yeah, you're right in front of him.
If the corner just runs straight, he doesn't even have to take an angle. Because if the corner is reading Jalen Hyatt's body in his eyes, the corner just continues to go straight, and he's going to run right into Jalen Hyatt.
I think I'm erring on the chance of speed.
You're erring on the chance of speed.
Let me ask you a question: If this was Tyreek Hill right here,
okay, but it's not Tyreek Hill. But
he's just as fast.
It doesn't matter. How long has Tyreek Hill been in the league?
He's been in the league a while, but I'm just saying,
So if you are Daniel Jones and you have a Waller sitting 15 yards scot-free in the middle of the field, where you're going to move the chains, and then you're going to get into the same. You're going to get maybe. You could potentially have a 15-yard game over a maybe shot with a rookie when you definitely have a corner that's sitting in position that he probably doesn't even have to take the right angle to literally run into Jalen Hyatt. I would rather take a shot to Waller than a 50-50 pass to Jalen Hyatt.
But here's the thing, like if you take this chance here, and I'm just thinking about it from a competitive standpoint as far as who we're playing. you take this play, like, okay, so you get the ball. Let's just say he catches that, gets it down to the 40. You know, this drive could stall out and you could get 3 points from it. But if you take the chance here, what if you get a touchdown? That's what I'm saying. The teams that you're playing this year, you got to try to score.
Here's the thing, though. Let's say you make that pass and you miss. Let's say you don't get a touchdown. Let's not even say it's the worst case scenario that you get an interception. Let's say he doesn't catch it. Let's say
I would think that was a good read.
The ball.
I would give him praise for that.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If Daniel Jones made that throw and missed, you are going to have all the people that dislike Daniel Jones or have a problem with Daniel Jones sitting there and saying he should have checked down. He should have taken the 15-yarder to Waller. I mean, there's no winning here. there's
no. I think if he took that shot and it was either like maybe it was slightly overthrown or high, you dropped it. I think me and a lot of people that I talk to, we would understand why that he took that shot, and we would be pleased with that.
No, you would not.
I would be.
Don't even lie to me, because if you
I'm being serious.
That shot and you saw Waller wide open 15 yards in the middle of the field with the nearest guy not even 5 yards near him on each side. First thing I bet in your chats, the first thing people are going to say is he should have checked down the wall. He should have threw that ball to Waller. That's why we're paying Waller $11 million a year.
I don't know. I would like the opportunity. I would respect the fact that he was trying to make the play, and because this right here, this to me is like standard Daniel Jones, wide open, whatever.
Right,
but this to me, throwing this, that's something that you don't see him try to throw.
That right there to Waller is the correct read. If you want to talk about the maturation of Daniel Jones,
you're talking about this right here.
That right there is the correct read.
I agree with that.
That is moving the chains 15 yards, first down, sitting there on the opponent's 45.
Look, I agree with you. This is the right read.
The correct read. I'm not gonna say anything about Daniel Jones not making this throw, or even
this third down? Was this third down?
I think that was first down. I think it says 1st and 10. It says 1st and 10, Giants 43.
Yeah, this is 1st and 10 right here, Zach.
This is first down.
Yeah, so if this is first down, hell yeah, I'm taking that shot. I'm throwing this ball all day long. If it's first down, hell yeah, I'm throwing it. Look, I agree with you. Listen, I agree with you. I agree with you.
If he throws an interception on that play, you and the people in your chats, the first thing they're going to say,
no, absolutely no, because I understand. Like,
you're past the wall.
Look, I agree with you right now that this is the correct read. 100% agree with you. Not even going to argue that. But if it's 1st and 10 and you've got this, take the shot. Even if it's interception. Look, Josh Allen throws interceptions. The best quarterbacks in the league sometimes throw interceptions. Patty Mahomes, everybody. I would understand at 1st and 10, take the shot.
Can I ask a question?
Take the chance.
Can I ask a question though? What was the outcome of this drive?
It ended in a touchdown.
There we go.
But do you know? Yeah, but on this play, you don't know if it's going to end in a touchdown.
You don't, but there you go. It ended in a touchdown.
But I'm just saying, yes, it ended. Yeah, but you can't.
Listen, you know what? I love this now because I'm the one defending Daniel Jones, and people say I'm a Daniel Jones hater. If you are playing NFL, if this is not mad, take the shot. This is your first series of the game. First series of the game, a lot of times you want to come out and you want to make sure you hold it, especially the fact that you took the ball. So the first series of the game, you want to go out there, you want to make a statement. If this is the game against Dallas and this play is available against Dallas and not the scrubs of the Carolina Panthers, I am fine with Daniel Jones jumping that. And it's not even a dump off pass. That is, you're looking at, let's see here. He's right there. See, like a 5, 10, 15. It's a 15-yard throw for a first down against the Dallas Cowboys. Move the sticks because you're going to hopefully your offense is competitive enough right now to have play after play after play. Instead of taking a bat, and like you said, look at his body, look at the way he's angled, and again, go parallel and look at where the corner is. That is the Daniel Jones 1,490% Every 10 times on Sunday, that was the correct read.
I'm not, and again, like I said,
And I would not take the shot. No way.
I am not saying that it's not the correct read. It is, but at 1st and 10, if this is the Cowboys, week 1, Cowboys, 1st and 10,
I'm taking the 15-yarder to Waller.
I'm taking the shot on 1st.
Because I'm not going to sit there and have Diggs pick off the pass.
I'm taking if he's past Diggs or he's past Gilmore and it's 1st and 10,
but
I'm taking it.
You're forgetting about that little guy on the 39.
I'm taking the shot at first.
Guy.
Like if it's 2nd down or 3rd down, no. But if it's 1st down, you take the shot.
I have no problem with that pass. I have no problem with that.
I don't know. Listen, it ended in a touchdown. That's fine. But I'm not going to err. I'm not going to err like when I'm looking at this play. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, the drive ended in a touchdown. So
here's the problem.
It was the right read, though.
You're not looking at the play. You were looking at a screenshot of a 1/10 of a second of the play. You're not looking at the play. And that's what pisses me off about people that post this. And I'm not getting on Dash, but this is what pisses me off on people when they post this shit on Twitter, because of the fact that you show me the whole thing. Show me where Daniels is positioned. Show me where his offensive lineman is. Show me where that corner is running. If that corner is running on a straight route and he is going straight and he's going to intersect with Jalen Hyatt, I'm not making that throw. I am taking the smart money, which is the 15-yard completion to my tight end, who I understand that is going to be my guy all year long, and you live to fight another 1st down, and you keep the clock going. You keep getting, play after play after play, like they did on that drive, and then they scored a touchdown on the opening series of the play. You go out against Dallas. He makes that throw. It is an interception, and it is the opening series of the play. It's the opening series of the day. Giant fans are going to bemoan the fact that Daniel Jones shouldn't have made that throw. There's no winning here. And this is why I did the whole video about poor Daniel Jones. There is literally no winning for this kid. Because if the haters see that play and see the check down to Waller, they're going to bitch that he shouldn't have made the throw. If the people that love him, he makes that throw and it's interception, they're going to make excuses why he did something else happened on that play that caused that really caused the interception.
I've seen Eli hit OBJ on his rookie year with similar coverage. If Daniel, look, I understand what you're saying. If Daniel throws that pass and that ends up being a touchdown, nobody's gonna, like with Mike Lee saying like, and I know I don't play quarterback, and no, maybe it's not the right read. The right read is Waller. Everybody would be going fucking nuts if he threw it to Hyatt and it ended up in a score. If he made that read.
But it's not the correct read.
I'm not saying it is, but that's a big boy throw. That is a big boy. That is a $40 million quarterback throw right there.
Stop right there. Stop right there. You said it right there. It's not the correct read. Let's put it there. It's not the correct read.
No, I'm not saying that it is. But again, that pass to Hyatt, that's a $40 million quarterback shot.
You know what a $40 million quarterback shot is? Playing consistent, spreading the ball around, and making the correct reads.
Does Patrick Mahomes always make the right read, or does he take chances with his arm? What about Joe Burrow? What about Josh Allen?
Here's the thing. You're talking about guys that have been consistent in their entire career right now. Daniel Jones evidently is just having his progression in year 5. So I'm not going to sit there and tell Daniel Jones, go be Mahomes, go be Josh Allen, go be these other guys that you're not. Because at the end of the day, he's not Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones understands the correct read is 15 yards to Waller, 1st down. Move the sticks, keep the clock rolling. Don't take, and again, you're showing me a 1/10 of a second of a play. If the corner runs straight and he is literally running diagonal, they are going to intersect where the ball is. So he's going to have to throw it towards the sideline and hopefully keep it on the inside of, it would have to be on the outside shoulder of Jalen Hyatt, because you don't want to throw it on the inside, because if you put it on the inside shoulder, who's standing right there? The cornerback. Orlando says, DJ has to do a better job protecting the wall. Yeah, he does have to protect the wall. We talked about that. He can't throw Waller into coverage. He got hit a couple times. Waller did. Let's see. Zach Attack also says, Rob, you have to understand the NFL safeties are not that bad. Well, that was actually a corner. That wasn't a safety. Let's see here. I'd rather take a 20-yard completion than a risky play. Mike Lee said it's easy to play with what you shoulda, woulda, coulda. Need to see the whole play. Better to take 15 than a possible big play. Todd says, or if Hyatt drops it, you have to punt. No, it's first down. Mike Lee says you practice the way you're going to play. Very good. Exactly. 100%. You practice the way you're going to play. Mr. Little Builder says exactly. We got let's see. I think you take the short 15 yards because the 5 yards would possibly open up a deep pass and take the deep shot, but the 15 yards is the great play. Exactly, Tim. We also see here Waller, Hyatt, and Barkley are takeovers. The NFC like the Chiefs. I hope they do. Alex Ford says I agree with Tim. Mrs. McCormick says I agree with Tim. You don't overcomplicate. We got the big super chat coming in from the Zach Attack. Brian Dable would chew Daniel Jones out since it was third. No, it was first, but he would chew Daniel Jones out because if he saw Waller open, I guarantee Dable would have chewed him out on that one. Todd Taylor says the pass to Waller in stride to be a touchdown as well. Oh, wrong play. That's okay. John says a DJ will 3 and outs 4 times check down to Waller, but you only have that one that he can let it rip. Highlights run. He's not running open free. This is what aggravates me about people like this. He's not running free. There's a corner right there. And the corner is running parallel. If he intersects it, we showed it with Rob drawing the diagonal line. Oh, I'm the one's got to defend Daniel Jones this year. I forgot to play left guard, but I didn't say he was lying about the preferred left side. He played more. Both know the teams need him on the right side. I guess that's about Evan Neal. John says, I think it's correct on 1st and 10. You got to do it. You got the arm to do it. I don't think he has the arm to do it.
I think so.
I don't think Daniel. I mean, where's everyone coming up with this? Daniel Jones is the greatest deep ball passer. I don't get it. He was 7 for 13 on deep ball passes, and 2 of those deep ball passes were short throws to Darius Slayton that he took for a touchdown. Let's see here. I don't hate Daniel Jones. I just don't think he's good at quarterback. The stats prove it. Well, you have to hope he's good this year, OG. Let's see. Mike Lee also says that is why Rob is not playing quarterback for the Giants. Well, none of us are going to play quarterback for the Giants. Todd Taylor says if he does that and we lose the bandwagon 95% of the crew, yeah, if he throws an interception, it's going to be can't just pander to the highlight lovers. We're not pandering to highlight lovers. Let's see what's Whiffy says. Do not compare OBJ to Hyatt. I agree. I don't even need to read the rest of that. John says, agree. You got to take the $40 million attempt at least a couple times. We all know. Yeah, but it's the first series of the game. It's the first series of the game. And you're going to do that against Dallas. And then Stephon Diggs is going to pick it off. And Stephon
Diggs gets fucking burnt by speed wide receivers all the time.
But he is running straight. He's not even in coverage. He can run straight. Let's see. Let's see. Hyatt did have a slight step. Yes, but again, look at the position of his body. Pro Football Focus is where you get. Oh, it is Pro Football Focus. What stats prove Jones is not a good quarterback? Well, I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but if you want to talk about stats, look at the amount of time that the ball travels in the air. That's always a good stat. Look at the yards that the ball travels in the air. He's actually 32nd in the league on all those. Then you look at his time in the pocket, which is he was 5th most time in the pocket, which tells me his progression wasn't there. But we have to hope he's getting better. We have to hope he's getting better, guys. Make sure you hit the like button when you come on in. But like I said, I can't bash the kid. I know you're not bashing, but I can't sit there and tell you that you take that shot week 1 against Dallas when you have a 15-yard play to Waller right in the middle.
I'm taking it. I think that's a $40 million big boy throw to Hyatt.
I think it's a $40 million correct read to Waller. Because I'm going to tell you,
I agree. It's the correct read.
I'm going to tell you right now, if he makes that throw and it's an interception.
But listen, half the time, how many times do quarterbacks win games by just making a big time play that you don't expect them to make, as opposed to just taking
how many times
what you think is the right thing to do?
How many times the quarterback's lost game by not making the correct read?
Yeah, but if it's the first, If it's the first drive, how you're not going to lose the game on the one drive?
Really? First one drives have not cost teams games?
The first drive?
Listen, sometimes you go back to NFL history. Sometimes if you have a good first drive, and that is a direction that you're going to go. And that I've seen games where teams have had terrible first drives, have committed terrible turnovers or penalties that has affected them throughout the entire game. You are going up against a division rival in Dallas. This is the most important game of the season. You are going up against Dallas. You make that play and it's an interception. You give Dallas the ball, and you give Dallas the ball around their 40. And then you have to then defend. If Dallas comes out and punches you in the mouth that series because you made a stupid play that you probably should have went with the correct read, yes, it's 7-0. You already got yourself in a little bit of a hole. And then you're also giving Dallas the ball to start the second half.
So the first play can derail a game, but the first game can't derail a season?
Yes, because of the fact that yes, that's actually true. Because the first game of the season, there's 16 other games.
And there's three other quarters.
I actually didn't say it couldn't derail the season. I said it's the most important game of the season.
It is, and that's what I'm saying.
No, it's not, because what's the most important game of the season in week 2 if we lose? Week 2 is then the most important game of the season.
Oh, stop.
Let's see here. Little Dodo said, I agree with you on that, though. Anytime anything wrong happens, people bash DJ. That's just the way it's going to be. Giant sort of his DJ always makes the correct read, and that's what does short routes. We needed to open up. But here's the thing. He didn't check it down short. He didn't check it down to a running back for 3 yards. He threw the ball 15 yards down the middle of the field to a wide open tight end that you are paying $11 million for, who you traded for, to be that guy that is going to take him out of the 4-yard pass to the 15, 20-yard pass. It's the correct read. I just watched the play. Hyatt was not open. The corner cut the gap. And I believe Zach Attack, because he would do that. I'm not bashing you, Zach. That's why I love you, man. John Doe says that throw to Hyatt is impossible if Waller wasn't wide open. I think it would have been a fine read, although Waller was wide open, so you can't argue it was a good read. If Waller's not open and that's the play, and he's got no one to check down to, and he doesn't want to take the sack, yeah, then you take a shot, but you better make sure you throw it to his outside shoulder and away from the defender. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here in 3 minutes. I know we got a lot of people in the chat. Make sure you hit the chat because I got stuff to do today. Let's see here. Tyrone says the first drive sets the tone of the game. Very important. Jeff said it's the fourth quarter and you're behind. That's the big here we go. It's the fourth quarter and you're behind. That's the big time quarterback might take that chance, and not on the first play of the game. Again, it's situational. It's understanding everything. I agree with this with Jeff. If you are down in the fourth quarter, Rob, by 15 and you got 8 minutes left, I would then take the shot to Hyatt. Because A, you don't know if you're going to get the ball back after that, because, like I said, they could just run the drive out. But I'm not taking that shot in the first quarter. I'm not going to. Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm defending you, brother. Online Big Blue is here defending Daniel, defending the Golden Boy, $40 million quarterback, also known as Daniel Jones. We are brothers. We are friends now. This is the kinder, gentler Tim, sitting there telling everyone, you know what? Just the kid did the right thing. He did the right. You can tell me all day long, but he did the right thing. Good for Daniel Jones. 2 thumbs up. Well, actually, it's this. 2 thumbs up for DJ. Look at that. There he is, sitting there with Andrew Thomas, just hanging out. I wasn't even yelling at him. That's how close I was. I could reach out and touch him. Some people might like that a little too much.
Pause.
Dramatic pause. Say sore. Let's see here. But Sim is still a DJ hater. Yeah, I know. I love that. I love that. I don't feel that Daniel Jones, Eli Manning had it worse. It's early in his career. You'll have to sometimes forget about that. I agree. David Terry said, I'm not arguing with you. I'm going to argue, but I'm going to argue with you. All right, guys, I got to check out of here. Make sure you hit the like button. We only got 50 something likes. I keep forgetting. Telling you, we got 100 something people in the room. I'm going to run out and do some family stuff because it's a beautiful day and school is starting soon. Big Rob, do you have anything you want to close out with?
No, I'm good. Make sure you guys are following both me and Tim. Giants football is back. We got one more preseason game before the season kicks off. I'm excited. And let's get it going, man. Let's get New York Giants football back.
I will be there Sunday night rooting on the team. It's going to be so I'm not going to be at the Jet game because I don't think anyone's even going to be at the Jet game. Let's see. What does Mike Lee says? Let's see. I had one come up. Oh, Mike, I thought I had a chat come up with Mike Lee. Mike Lee says, I'm not saying DJ made the right read, but he made the right read. At the end of the day, guys, you know what? It doesn't really matter because it's just preseason. It's a good show. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. This is Tim. This is R0B, also known as Rob. Don't forget mintmobile.com/Big Blue. Go out there and get that premium wireless service. We'll see you next Sunday. And we are out of here. I got to remember to end.